I'm Persia. This is Ratish. Ratish crashed the last week of my honeymoon, which was in Japan, and so came to Tokyo and shopped for 6 days straight. I experienced it as well. It was truly a wonder to see, and so I wanted to give you a platform to sort of talk about what you bought, why you bought it, where you bought it, give people some insight into the stores you really liked in Tokyo. And before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself and your ethos and how you like to style yourself.
Totally. My name's Ratish. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all again. I was in a previous video.
That's true.
And
they might know you already.
Like, y'all were like, I was actually quite nervous about like kind of making like my quote unquote YouTube debut.
Yeah.
But like, this was the best community to do it with. Like, so nice. The comments were so thoughtful and insightful, just like you.
This is great. Pressure them into behaving, like telling them you have high expectations. Everyone's been so nice.
Yeah, everyone's been really lovely. And yeah, I'm really excited to showcase a lot of stuff we did. Yes, it is true. I spent pretty much the entire time shopping, but I'm pretty anti-touristy activity just in general. And so it was lovely to be able to support some local stores. Part of it was to find some unique items. Part of it was to find some stuff that was cheaper that I had my eye on. And part of it was just like being surprised.
Yeah.
And the spontaneity of it all and the hunt.
So we're going to do, in this video, just the new stuff. So stuff that you can, in essence, go and buy yourself. And then we're going to do another video with all the stuff that we bought vintage or secondhand on my Patreon. I'll put the information down below if you want to watch that video as well. It's just obviously a little bit more niche and maybe not as actionable as the new stuff will be. So we're going to split the videos up like that. And I did a very quick haul on shorts if you want to see what I bought. That's where it is.
Something to note of where I'm at on my journey is I'm prioritizing natural fibers. So linen, a little bit of cotton, silk, leather, other things. I'm not really prioritizing polyester or any other quote unquote man-made material. So a lot of the stuff that you're going to see is natural fibers. And a lot of stuff I prioritize like being comfy. I also prioritize being practical. There's some stuff here that's like a little bit flashier for sure, but there has to be an element of practicality and comfort embedded in it. Yeah. I'm not trying to be like showing off and being uncomfortable.
Of course, me too.
So let's get started.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Muji is around. We are familiar with it. Muji has a wonderful concept store.
Yeah. And
I got this linen blanket from the Muji concept store. And they specifically are working with a textile factory called Tenjin, but it is phenomenal. I'm pretty much been using this like to go to like for bed that time. We can talk more about linen later, but I really prioritize linen. It's temperature regulating. It's just wonderful. It ages beautifully. It's super soft. So really soft right out of the box. Wonderful designs. This was probably one of the flashiest ones. You had also mentioned that's like a great place to buy gifts.
Yeah, it was not the biggest store, the concept store, but it's very centrally located. So if you're in the area, pop in, see if you want to buy something for yourself or someone else. And yeah, it smelled really good in there. So.
Oh yeah, the fragrances that they were selling were lovely. Linens, also lovely.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. One of my favorite brands is called FilMelange. I found out about them from Suicoke, who runs CHCM in New York City, which is a relatively high-end...
It's fancy.
Fancy clothing store in NoHo. FilMelange makes a variety of things. Typically, they err on the side of like loungy. And I bought kind of a head-to-toe kit that's all gray. Basically, I got the pants, I got the shorts, and then I also got a sweatshirt. What I love about this specific kit is that it's cotton and linen. So you get the benefits of cotton, you get the benefits of linen. Super comfy. My friend Malcolm, who I would love to shout out, he does a variety of alterations and tailoring and styling and all a variety of things. He hemmed these for me. These look really flattering.
Oh, he hemmed the shorts?
Yeah, they're incredibly comfortable. They kind of feel like I'm wearing nothing at all. And yeah, made like a really large hem on the bottom.
Yeah,
just
the store
in love with it.
Super nice. The guy was really nice. The shop attendant who was there when we went. It is a little bit more out of the way. I feel like we were in kind of a random neighborhood. But great high quality basics if that is something you're looking for.
We talked about an umbrella.
We did talk about umbrellas.
And how much...
Have you been using this since you got back?
Yes. And people like stop me on the street. They're like, what? This is wonderful. I think they're stopping me on the street for a couple of reasons. One is like, it's a beautiful umbrella, but also number two, it's not common to have folks...
People don't wear sun umbrellas in New York.
Exactly.
I saw one woman do it in my neighborhood since I've been back.
This store that I'm about to mention is gonna come up quite a bit. There's a few of them. There's one specifically called Aoyama. The Aoyama store I really highly recommend. The store I want to talk about is Art and Science.
Arts and Science.
Arts and Science is phenomenal. Love it. They sell Fox umbrellas. You can get Fox umbrellas at a variety of places.
Fox like the animal?
Yeah, FOX. Wonderful, comfortable, very practical. There's a variety of colors. You can get Fox umbrellas at quite a few places. I didn't get like a huge deal on this umbrella, but it was just wonderful.
Isn't it supposed to be like bad luck to open an umbrella inside?
Yeah, why are you opening it? Close it.
Because I want to see. Oh, okay.
The quality is amazing, and then immediately just
You do it. I'm scared.
You're good.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
There you are.
Oh, so it's light inside and out.
Yeah, huge fan of it. Fox umbrellas. Grab one.
Yeah, this feels very sturdy.
Super sturdy.
Most umbrellas feel like they're about to be trash.
Totally.
Right now.
The other thing that I love about Fox umbrellas, as well as some other brands, is it can kind of look kind of dorky when you're trying to fold it back and try to wrap the strap around. This one, including a couple other brands, like you can just basically quickly spin it and everything will all fall into place.
Oh, okay.
It's like really slick.
You're worried about how dorky you look in your sun umbrella?
Yeah, these are the things I think about. Okay.
I feel not dorky. I want to fit it in and no one else here wears a sun umbrella.
I know, but like I think that's gonna be.
You think it's going to change?
I hope it will.
I don't think so. Because Americans love to be tan.
Next brand. This is another brand I also found out from Suicoke at CHCM. It's called Seya. I got this at Maidens Shop.
Tell me about when you're wearing this. Is this layered or is this a sexy moment?
This is a sexy moment. This is a layered moment. The only times I've worn it because it's been, pretty hot in New York. Like today's a lovely day.
Today's nice.
This I'll typically wear in temperatures between like 72 to 80 something, like low 80s.
But it's pretty sheer.
It's quite sheer.
Yeah.
It's all linen. Just this gorgeous, sexy color. There's also like a tealish, bluish color that they also sell, but love Seya. This is one of the first garments I've gotten that is meshy in this way.
Yeah. You knew about this brand before you went? Or you found it there?
I heard about this from CHCM.
Okay.
And I recognized the logo, the SE, and then like a big gap, and then the YA. And when I saw it at Maidens Shop, I was like, oh my God, finally I can like try some stuff out. Yeah. Really high quality.
Great.
Now we're going to get into a kind of a cult brand. Comoli. There is a really gorgeous Comoli store in Tokyo.
Yeah.
That sells out incredibly quickly. Comoli is in quite a few stores in Japan.
Yeah.
But there's...
I saw some secondhand as well.
Yeah, right.
It's reached the secondhand market.
In Japan or here?
In Japan, for sure. I think you can buy stuff online secondhand, but you're probably not going to see it in person here. Really, the only place that I've seen it in person so far is Ven Space, which is in Carroll Gardens. Yeah. Which is a new store. I can talk all day long about my love for merino wool. This is merino wool. These are essentially basketball shorts that Malcolm This is merino wool?
Yeah, it is.
Oh my God.
Incredible. And that's also a tank top. I feel so good working out in this.
So this is like summer wool. This is
a summer wool, but like what's wonderful also about merino wool is it's temperature regulating. So as I get warmer.
It like really just looks like a basketball jersey. This is crazy.
As I get warmer, it like feels way less stifling compared to cotton or a lot of the polyester.
Yeah. And everything, not everything, but pretty much everything is black or dark gray, or it's very dark colors.
Yes, I would, and same with the store. Like I'm not even sure how many pictures there are of it. Like they don't really want people taking photos of it.
It's like in there?
It's like everything is like concrete, like really dimly lit, and everyone's head to toe Comoli. It's a scene in there. It is definitely a scene. But I've been looking for merino wool
Like athletic wear?
Working out gear for a while, and I finally found some stuff that like I felt really like good on me. I felt really comfortable, and
You think you're gonna wear it
practical.
also casually, or mostly?
Probably not. Is it also picking me up right here when I'm talking?
Yeah.
Okay, great. The other thing, so I bought this at Maidens Shop. Then I went to the Comoli headquarters. I bought more in my size, and then I went to a different store to also buy it. Like this is like my workout gear now.
They're all the same?
All the same. The exact same
You were
size,
just trying to
exact same
find your
color.
size.
Because like what my mom always taught me, I feel like I'm yelling, but I'm so excited. What my mom always taught me is like, if you find something, you know you're going to use it, and there's multiple of them, and you're going to need those things, just go ahead and grab them.
Yeah.
Not go excess, but now I have like a week.
Right.
Or
well,
so
and yeah, workout
of
stuff
fun.
also like you wash every time,
Totally.
and you don't want to do laundry more than like once a week, so it makes sense.
Totally. Okay, next up. This is one of the brands that is significantly cheaper in Japan compared to the US.
Yeah.
And that is, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it.
I kind of wanted to pick up something from here, but I didn't.
Probably recognize that. 45R. These are some of the most gorgeous indigo dyed shorts I've ever like worn.
Yeah.
They're quite thick. You know when you put something on, you just like feel more like yourself?
Yeah.
Kind of like this is the thing. It's like high-waisted. I just am in love with them. I believe these are hemp.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people talk about hemp recently because I think people think of it kind of like linen, but less wrinkly.
Yes, it can be less wrinkly, and also it is significantly stronger.
Oh, really?
Yes. Linen is quite strong, but hemp is especially strong. Love these shorts. I have not found these shorts in
The U.S.?
the US yet. I will consider going to the New York kind of flagship store there and see if they have them, but I haven't been able to find them online. So if anybody finds them, drop the link or send it to me.
Yeah, I really like 45R. I was actually not super impressed with their store in Tokyo. I don't know if that was just me.
The New York store is prettier, I think.
The New York store is like really beautiful.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Tokyo store was just like, oh, it's a store. Like, it's nice. And the clothes are obviously amazing, but I wasn't super impressed by like the concept of it.
I agree.
Which doesn't really matter. Overall, it does not matter.
Indigo shirt. I cannot wait for this to fade really well. It's got like a fun little pocket on the back. And of course, like I very rarely wear logos. But for this one, like people who like know 45R, they'll recognize the R, but I'm not going to wear a huge Adidas like logo or anything like that.
So this is the back, the pockets on the back.
Exactly. Oh my God. I'm going to put this on right now. When I first put this on, I like felt like $1 million. My peeps, Nigel Cabourn.
You can, if you go into this little, you need a longer, stand over there. Yeah, there you go.
My peeps, Nigel Cabourn. Huge fan of the brand. This is the first time I've actually ever worn anything by them. Again, I'm prioritizing natural fibers. This is a linen. It feels so light. I think it hits me in all the best ways. I feel like a little bit like I'm going to like a science lab or something like that.
It's like lab coat-esque.
I am really loving this idea of like wearing all of a similar cream tone of the entire thing with like a pop of color somewhere or something like that. I'm like really excited about that. But this in the fall is gonna like be like probably my go-to jacket.
And this is also linen.
Also linen.
We should
100%.
just say what is not linen at this point.
Okay.
That might be shorter.
I also got this from Nigel Cabourn. This lovely belt.
This is the type of belt I've been really looking for secondhand, specifically a sort of multicolored leather chain belt. It's so nice.
ASMR.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful brand, special collaboration. But yeah, if you can find it on Nigel Cabourn's website, good for you. I don't think the brand is called Soak in Water, but it says Soak in Water.
I thought that was an instruction, but probably not.
Like, why would you soak
this
leather belt in water?
Nigel Cabourn is a British company. I've talked about them a bit before, but they're very prevalent in Japan. You see their stores everywhere. You see a lot of their stuff also sold secondhand. And online and you okay?
I'm good.
Okay. You see Nigel Cabourn sold online secondhand in person, but yeah, it's pricey.
This is another brand that was quite a bit less expensive in Japan.
In Japan, yeah. I don't know if they're licensed in Japan. I need to do some research, but there's a lot of Nigel Cabourn in Japan. I think they just know that's where their customer is.
Next brand, Adolfo Dominguez.
Yeah.
This was very close to the store where we bought our Moonstar shoes together.
Yeah.
This is linen. It's a really, really bright blue. Like you can see it on camera, like how bright and vibrant this blue is, which definitely caught my eye. The prices weren't insane. Like I haven't worn this yet.
It was on sale too, right? Or...
Yeah, they had really nice prices. Their customer service was, like when I emailed them some questions afterwards, they were quite slow. And I think that there was definitely like a language barrier of like understanding like what specific questions I was asking.
About garment care?
About garment care, things like that. But basically, I finally found out this is synthetic indigo versus natural indigo. That was my main question.
Oh.
And they weren't like quite sure like what I was asking.
I see.
The vast majority of the garments are synthetic indigo. It's quite rare to find natural indigo.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. We can do a whole video on fabric. We can do a whole video on materials. We can do a whole video on this indigo.
Do we have to?
We have to. Remember when like your boo was talking about like his favorite drinks like in Tokyo?
Yeah.
And then you just like kept zooming in to your face.
That's what you want me to do while you talk about indigo.
Yeah.
I know indigo obviously is very prevalent in Japan, like important culturally. I guess I just assumed that they were using natural indigo usually, but I guess not.
No, most of the time it's synthetic. I've actually dyed some of my own pieces with natural indigo. It's so fun, but it's incredibly labor intensive. And there's a variety of other reasons why most brands are using synthetic versus natural. Speaking of indigo, one of my favorite stores that I went to that if you've ever been to Blue and Green or if you've been to like any other brand, like even Capital, we did not go to Capital like when we were in Tokyo. But if you're looking for like kind of like alternatives or something that's maybe similar but a little bit more off the beaten path, I would highly recommend Hollywood Ranch Market. If you're coming from Nigel Cabourn, get ready. You're gonna be walking up a hill. Just get ready for that. I was not ready. I had like a bunch of bags. It sucked. But as long as you're aware of it, you'll be good.
It's the whole neighborhood is hills.
Now, this is one of my favorite brands. This is one of the best brands to buy in Tokyo and not buy here. It is incredibly expensive to buy here. And I got this significantly cheaper there. So Blue, not to be confused with Pure Blue Japan and a variety of other brands that have the word blue in them.
There is a lot of that.
Now, this is the tag in case you're curious. Okay, brand new with tags. This is, and this isn't done very often, this is an indigo linen set.
It's usually not.
Typically it's
linen.
cotton. Typically the folks will use cotton when they're constructing garments made out of with indigo.
Put it on.
Oh my god. God, I felt like so good when I put this on.
And you were between two of these jackets.
Yeah.
They had different button styles.
There's one that was more like a chore coat, then there was this double-breasted thing, and I absolutely
double-breasted is definitely more, I think, unique.
Totally. I love it, and you can also just imagine.
Are you going to wear them
pants.
as a set, you think?
I would. One of the things I'm doing right now is like exploring my comfort and excitement with monochromatic outfits, and I love doing it. I think I would. I've seen certain people like wear like head to toe like Capital and stuff, and that always feels a little bit more like a character. But for something like this, like I think I would be down to do it.
Yeah.
The other thing, and we'll talk about that maybe a little bit later, but the entire fiber of the linen is actually dyed.
Oh my god, are we actually going to do a linen crash course?
We can. All my linen heads, rise up.
I love to learn about fabrics. It doesn't feel like school. It's very exciting to me. I'm titillated by the subject.
Oh, by the way, if you know, you know. Remember this? Okay. I know we're plinko balling a little bit, but this was also from Arts and Science. Got a couple other pieces from them.
Yeah, Arts and Science is a concept store, not a concept store, what do they call it? A select store. And it has a bunch of different brands, and they have their own brand. So these are Arts and Science, and then they have a couple of other things there.
This I actually got at the Arts and Science Aoyama store that I mentioned earlier, brand new. Very slubby, very like low GSM, so it's like really perfect in the summer and the spring.
All right, tell people what that means.
So basically it's grams per square meter. So it's essentially, when you're thinking about GSM, it's essentially like how heavy it is. The higher the GSM, the more heavy it is.
And slubby means that it's inconsistent, the fabric.
The fabric is it's woven in a typically a more of a way that feels thicker, but irregular.
Irregular.
So I got that new, and then we went to Ragtag, one of the places that was a hit for, I think,
everyone?
all of us. Anyways, point being, I got this
smock.
Gorgeous smock.
It's big,
which
and
would have
long.
been so much more expensive brand new. I bought it. I love it. It reminds me of my cultural identity. And, you know, that's another thing I was kind of like, garments I've been looking for is, again, the things that like make me feel more like me.
Yeah.
So really lovely. So it just goes to show you that you can find some of these brands brand new. You can also buy them secondhand.
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't bring all the socks to your apartment. All
we
the ones that I bought.
Before.
We showed them before.
We didn't talk that much about it.
Okay, let's talk much about it. So, the TLDR is that I want to put you all onto Nishiguchi Kutsushita, and I also want to put you onto this brand, Olde H Daughter. Okay, end video.
I think you can buy these and ship them to the US, but obviously, again, cheaper to go and buy them. Not to go and buy them in Japan, but if you're in Japan,
it depends on how many socks you're buying.
It's cheaper to fly to Japan and buy them there. No, it's not. It is cheaper if you're in Japan to get them there.
Yeah, so I would recommend getting them there. If you're interested, if you're basically not going to be going to Japan or don't have plans to go to Japan anytime soon, just let me know or let us know in the comments, and I can just recommend some stores that you can buy them in the US or in Canada. So I brought a few, and I bought a few of different materials. One is a silk and cotton. Okay, so I have silk and cotton. These are more for the like, dressier occasions.
Yeah, it looks like a dress sock.
I also have, y'all know, I love linen rib socks. We'll talk about this in our like linen 101, but if you haven't worn these before, they are gonna feel aggressive. Like they're gonna feel like, oh my God, what am I doing to my feet? You gotta lotion your feet beforehand.
What?
You have to.
They take the moisture?
They don't take the moisture, but because they're ribbed and because it's a slubbier fabric, it's gonna cause more like abrasion onto your like feet, for example. And so you should just know that. Just like wear some like put some lotion on. I don't lotion my feet. I never have to. I have like naturally like great feet.
Ashiness is not an issue for you?
No. But if I'm like wearing these like in the summer all day for like 2 weeks, I will feel like some like my heel is like gotten a little
cracked.
Or like my big toe has gotten, and like it's easy to cut using the nail clippers.
Different video.
That we talked about. But just know, if you're like gonna buy linen rib socks, just ease yourself into it.
Yeah.
Ease yourself into them. Don't just go hard in the paint with these. All right. Next thing is, this is gonna be more for the fall and winter situation. These are wool rib socks. And then the other one they also have that I also bought, which was cashmere. Okay. So this is cashmere with just a little bit of nylon. There are certain situations like this where I will be okay with getting nylon.
It's just for like the structural integrity?
For the structural integrity, typically cashmere socks can break down really quickly, especially on the heel and some other parts, like if you're, depending on like where you're hitting and like what your gait is.
Yeah.
I typically recommend getting, if you're gonna get like an alpaca or a cashmere or even like a merino wool, it is okay like getting a little bit of nylon in there to help with the structural integrity, but try not to have the nylon more than like 10%.
Do you hand wash these?
I will put on the delicate cycle, and I'll typically put them in laundry bags.
Okay. Oh yeah, you got some laundry bags.
Which we also got in Tokyo. I'm a sock nerd, okay? So reminder, like my feet get really sweaty. My feet get sweaty, my armpits get sweaty, so it's really important for me to find garments that like feel like great.
And these ones.
And then these ones.
When did you get these?
These I got at...
I don't remember being there.
No, we went there together. 1LDK?
Oh, okay, yeah. Yes.
Went to 1LDK and got these, I believe.
Another size.
It might have been 1LDK or the Aoyama location of Arts and Science. One of those two. You should be checking both of them out regardless. But the brand itself is called Old Homesteader, but the specific collection is called Olde H Daughter. God, I love these. I cannot wait to wear these.
That's a fun color.
So fun. I have other colors too. These are just a couple of the ones. Okay.
Shoes.
Shoes. The Moonstar we pretty much already talked about.
But real quick.
Somebody in the comments actually found them.
Online?
Online.
Oh, great.
And has the specific model. So thank you to that person. I wish I could gift you something, like, for example, a free pair of shoes, but these are not leaving me. But yeah, check these out if you haven't. Your boo kind of like I mentioned that these kind of look like what a kid would draw
if they were
actually trying to draw shoes. I love that analogy. These are so comfortable. I've been wearing them. I wore them to the Met a few weeks ago.
That's some walking.
So good. These are from Arts and Science. They're made in Italy. The brand is called Brador. Every time I wear these, I get compliments. They're
really nice.
Are
they comfortable?
They're so comfortable. It's been incredibly hard for me to find sandals that have a relatively low profile, like not super chunky.
Right, but they're not like just walking on planks of wood.
Exactly. That also like feel versatile, comfortable, like in general.
These are very
flattering.
Every day.
These are great everyday shoes.
And you've broken them in actually pretty well already.
Yeah, I've worn these just like 3 or 4 times. Typically when I purchase sandals or any type of footwear, I want them to feel relatively great out of the box.
Yeah.
Like I don't fall for the idea of like, oh yeah, these Red Wing boots that like just wear them for half a year, all day, every day, and then they'll finally work. I don't do that. I want them to already feel great, broken in. And yeah, we can talk about other marketing tactics later. But yeah, that's the thing.
You think that's a marketing tactic for Red Wing?
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to suffer.
I'm just not going to suffer.
I'm not going to suffer.
I'm not gonna
On
suffer.
my feet, I feel very emotional about my feet because I feel like they suffer the most out of my whole body.
I know.
And I don't want them to suffer more.
I know, it's a hard life.
I cried once I was on my period, but I had like a blister on my pinky. That made me cry.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Wow, I'm sorry I brought up Red Wing, but no shame. It was just like, that's just an example of like, I don't, typically you see that language in like hardware, Americana workwear stuff of like, oh, just like wait or just keep wearing it. It'll eventually break in. I don't want to do that. I want to feel comfortable. The other thing I want to make sure is like, and I think I see this in pretty much all my garments is after I put it on, I don't want to be constantly thinking about the fact that I have it on, whether because it pulls in some way, like while I'm walking or like it feels uncomfortable. I don't want to feel it. Like the only time I want to like really remind myself that I have the garment on is if I see myself in the mirror, I'm like, oh my God. Or somebody like compliments me or asks me about it or something. That's really the times I want to think about it. I don't want to be constantly thinking about it. I have other things to do. All right. Next thing is the special release between Suicoke and South 2 West 8.
Oh, it's not, but we got them at
Nepenthes.
Ew.
So the whole area that we've been kind of talking about, there's Nepenthes, there's 45R, there's a variety of other places, like not too far, a walking distance. I guess everything's a walking distance if you try hard enough. But
new definition for walking distance.
Yeah. Like every pizza is a personal pizza if you try hard enough, if you're hungry, Anyways, so they have a couple of different colors. They have the green ones that also have like this pre-worn in kind of like look that has a little bit of blue too. And they also have like ones that are like more blue based.
These are cute.
I love these things. These are pretty much the only thing I got that's like more heavy on like the polyester and nylon. I find that these
with these kinds of shoes, you're not going to get away from that really.
Yeah, the issue that I have with most sandals is that, like I kind of mentioned with the Bradors, is that they might be too chunky or they are easy to roll my heel. These ones, because of the way it's constructed, I find really comfortable. The other thing is I don't like wearing thong sandals because I feel like I am pinching my toes together as I'm walking.
Oh, you're like crunching them.
And crunching them. I'm getting a workout in the way that I don't want to be getting workout when I'm sweaty. So like these ones, I can kind of just walk with, and they have so much support everywhere that I'm not really like working too hard.
Yeah.
Anyways, none of these people are sponsors, or none of these places are sponsors. These are just things that I like, genuinely like.
Yeah.
They've got a vibrant sole. I get compliments on these like every other time I wear them. They're not like, oh my God, these are like the showstopper ones, but the people who are like, hey, I'm looking for sandals, like I want something really practical and colorful, go for it. Suicoke, if you are interested, but you don't want or can't get these special collabs, and you also want maybe a muted color, Suicoke also has a similar shape, but like in a black.
Right.
The other thing just to note about is I don't really wear logos, right? So this one has like barely any logo, whereas like the more general collaborations, there's like a big logo here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so what I do actually
for Suicoke specifically?
Yeah, so Suicoke will typically have like branding like right here, and it'll be like pretty big. And so what I do with my Suicokes and some other shoes is I just like take a black marker, a like permanent marker, and I just like cover it up.
Really?
Yeah, I just like don't like showing off logos.
I'm not really a logo person either, except for Carol, which I don't actually know what this is. I don't think it's a logo.
Oh, okay, whatever that is, I love it. Okay, that is pretty much the shoes, the heads, the toes, and the in-betweens.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to say about like what were you looking, I know you had a couple of stores you wanted to go to. You definitely wanted socks, and you wanted these socks. Is there anything you were thinking about like shopping firsthand versus secondhand? Or I know you also, you had brands in mind, you had stores in mind.
Yeah, so what I did, which I think is one of the best ways to do it, is not to overplan, but don't underplan. So what I mean by that is what I did was I found and knew of some brands that I really enjoyed, that I found or touched or felt, maybe even like owned and tried on in the States already. And then I found that store. I looked at what the stockists were and who the stockists were in Tokyo, and I just went there. I knew that they already had stuff stocked. That was really incredible. So for example, with Seya and some other brands, I did that. Then like what you can do, what I've noticed in my experience, is a lot of the employees are incredibly open to giving you advice on other places that might be similar.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of reasons for that. I think there's less of a gatekeeping culture from the perspective, from what I felt, the perspective of an employee. I've been in situations multiple times where I've worked in stores in New York or other places, and I've asked what other stores, and they like feel like maybe threatened or something like that, and they like don't tell me. They'll just say like, oh, there's a lot around here, just look. And I appreciate that response. Maybe I could be doing more research. Point being is that in Tokyo, I was able to use Google Translate, ask them other places, and they were very open to doing that. So a lot of the stuff that I found, I already knew that I wanted, or at least I knew brands that I wanted. And a lot of stuff I just showed, like, I discovered because other people told me about it.
Yeah. So talk to your salespeople.
Yeah. And then the other thing I would say is like I also watched some like YouTubers. Yeah. I knew Drew Joyner did a video on Shimokitazawa and some other places around Japan, and so I looked at that. I looked at some places that he liked and didn't like. I asked some like vintage people around like what place they liked. I even asked a couple of people that I know that run this store in Boulder called Canoe Club. I asked them if they had any recommendations. So I leveraged like my network to make that happen. I also looked at Reddit. Now, I understand that some people watching might not have all those connections or might not have that like community built up. So I typically would recommend at least find one store that you can at least somewhat start the conversation with. Let's just take, for example, Capital. You've heard of Capital potentially. You're like, oh yeah, maybe I should check that out. Even if you don't like it, but if that's the only brand you've seen or like know of, go to the store. Ask them, be like, hey, do you have other stuff that's like this or like this? And just like respect the folks that like work at these types of stores, and they will give you the energy back, hopefully.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much. So we're going to do the next half for the Patreon supporters, and we'll see you there.
Thank you all for having me. This was like really fun to do. I'm here as a resource. Like if you want to talk fabric or you want to talk stores or whatever, I'm here. Within reason.
If you guys really want to have some sort of fabric video, let us know. And I too will learn about fabrics. I've come out before and being like, I don't know that much about fabrics. I know they exist. And when I touch them, I know that I like them. When I touch them.
We can definitely talk about touch and how texture relates to comfort for sure at some point.
Okay, sounds good.
Bye, y'all.